Greetings, I'm Tim of Govberg, and welcome to the world of Grand Seiko. Today, I'll be your guide to the proper usage, care, and maintenance of your Grand Seiko SBGC003 spring drive chronograph GMT. Now, this automatic winding watch can nevertheless be manually wound should it run down. By threading the crown counterclockwise, once it's out of its threaded sleeve, you'll feel a distinct pop into the first position, and now the crown can be turned in a clockwise direction, and you'll note the reserve to marche indicator on the dial will progress from empty to full. Now, approximately 30 turns will be more than sufficient to begin the operation of the movement, at which point kinetic energy absorbed from the wrist and the winding rotor on the case back will continue to top off the watch's power reserve such that it continues operating, and over the course of 3 to 4 conventional days will fully energize the power reserve. However, should you wish to fully energize the power reserve by manual winding, simply continue turning 45 to 60 turns in the clockwise direction. You cannot accidentally overwind this timepiece. Now, once the watch has been wound and fully energized, now the setting functions can be utilized. Now, there is one position out from the case that is the position for setting the local hour hand. Now, this is a GMT or dual time zone watch, so the local hour hand is the time where you are. Thus, it is keyed to the date, and the date will advance in sync with the local hour hand. Note that as I'm manipulating the local hour hand backwards or forward, representing travel through multiple time zones, you'll see that the movement continues to operate, the seconds hand continues to advance, and the timing of the reference time zone, which has a red arrow, as well as the minutes displayed on the dial, are not affected. So the isochronism of the watch as well as the timekeeping are not affected by a change in the local time. However, when you pull the crown to its outermost position, now you hack the movement, you stop the seconds. All of the indications on the dial move in sync. With the reference time zone being a 24-hour hand, it moves in one circuit of the dial per day. Once the time is set, return the crown in to its first position and thread it to a halt against the flank of the case for physical security and water resistance. Now, the watch is a chronograph, which means the chronograph pushers feature their own threaded sleeves. Now, you'll note when they're secured, they actually thread out and they cover a black band on the lateral portion of the chronograph pushers. You know that the chronograph is enabled when the black lateral band is visible. Of course, a chronograph must always be operated in proper sequence, beginning with the start from the pusher at 2 o'clock, commencing with the stop, and then reset by the pusher at 4 o'clock. Start, stop, and reset. Always utilize the functions of the watch in precisely that order, as attempting to reset the chronograph while it is running can severely damage the timepiece. Other hazards that are worth mentioning and significant in the context of a fine watch include magnetism, which can alter the timing of the watch adversely, and shock, which can physically damage the movement. Avoid both. Keep in mind that magnets contained in refrigerator doors, the closures of purses and wallets, MRI equipment, of course high-powered wiring looms, speakers, and subwoofers are ubiquitous in daily life. High-impact sports such as firearms marksmanship, such as mountain biking, dirt biking, tennis, baseball, or golf should be avoided while wearing the watch. It's also important to note that with respect to water resistance, the timepiece is rated to 10 bar or 100 meters, which is sufficient for most waterborne sports short of professional diving. However, you must work with your watch to avoid accidental drowning. Ensure that the crowns are always threaded in completely before you take the watch into the water. It's also important to note that you should never utilize any of the functions nor screw the crowns out while the watch is submerged or while there is water on the case, as this can bypass the seals. Furthermore, it's important to note that with respect to water resistance, it is not a static feature of the timepiece, and over time, as seals age and lubricants dry, water resistance will ebb. So Grand Seiko recommends at least every 24 months having your watch water tested with an authorized service center to ensure that the factory-rated hermeticity is retained. Now finally, with respect to comprehensive mechanical service of a fine watch, Grand Seiko recommends a factory overhaul at least once every 3 years. Now, this should be performed exclusively with an authorized service center of Grand Seiko, as these centers have the trained personnel, the specialized equipment, and the exclusive Grand Seiko factory replacement parts to maintain the value of your watch as both an instrument and as an investment. Moreover, only these agencies are authorized to back all work performed with an official Grand Seiko factory service warranty. To learn more about the proper usage of this or any Grand Seiko model, contact our experts at govbergwatches.com. Call, text, or email them, and they'll be happy to walk you through every phase of the ownership and usage experience.